Hello, and welcome to Candidates Up Front. This is a public interest election program of Berks Community Television and the League of Women Voters of Berks County. Our May 16th primary election is coming up. Democrats and Republicans will vote for judges, school directors, and county, township, borough, and city officials. The deadline to register to vote is May 1st. To check your voting status, go to votepa.gov. That's vote.pa.gov. You can register, change your party, locate your polling place, or apply for an absentee or mail-in ballot. The deadline to register is May 1st. The deadline to apply for a mail-in ballot is May 9th. The League is interviewing those candidates who wanted to be interviewed in contested races. For each race, the candidates will get the same basic questions and the same amount of time to answer them.
Hello, I'm Bill Litvin, a member of the League of Women Voters of Berks County. Two candidates are competing in the Republican Party for the chance to be Berks Recorder of Deeds. They are J. Scott DeFries and Mary Kozak. Republican voters across the county will vote for one to be on the fall ballot. The Recorder of Deeds records all deeds, mortgages, and real estate transfers. The recorder also collects the real estate tax. The recorder records charters of nonprofit organizations, highway plans, and subdivision plans. Berks County residents file military discharge papers in the office. The term is 4 years, and the current annual salary is $96,043. Please note that the opinions expressed in this interview are those of the candidate and are not the opinions of the League of Women Voters of Berks County or Berks Community Television. The interview today is with Mary Kozak. Welcome.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
Doing fine. Mary, please tell our viewers about yourself and why you are running.
Well, good day, everyone. My name is Mary Kozak. I'm a Brecknock Township resident. Been born and raised in Berks County, and I've lived here my entire life. As I was just saying to Bill, I grew up in the city, and between us, we don't need a microphone, he said. But anyways, I've been politically involved since I'm a child. My parents were involved politically as I was young, and I had the bug. They used to stand at the polls encouraging people and trying to promote different candidates. And I can remember standing with them and meeting different candidates when I was younger. And that always stayed with me. It was something that was always there. At the age of 18, the first time I voted, they asked me to become the judge of election in my precinct. And I guess the rest is history, because from there, being a long-time judge of election, this position was open on my party, which is the Republican Party side. And I was asked to do it, and I researched it, and I said, okay, I accept the challenge. And basically that, and plus, it was just time for a change in my life. You turn an age in your life, and it's like you just want to give back more.
Sure. Tell us what education and background you bring to the position.
Well, I come from a private school background, and I went kindergarten through 12th grade in private school. I attended college. I was a Penn State. I'm from Penn State. And I also attended Bloomsburg University. I didn't go to one college like normal people do, because while I was in college, my father was dying of cancer, and it was just my thought, I can't continue to do this, focus on school and education, and focus on my love of my father. And at 19, that's hard to accept.
Sure.
And I've always continued. Education has always been important to me. A class here, a class there. Anything that you do, every day is a new learning experience. And when you say you know it all, you're going to rot. So when you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot. So.
What personal qualities do you have that would help you be an effective recorder of deeds?
First of all, I think you have to have dedication, and you have to be non-judgmental, and most importantly, integrity. It is very hard for people to it's very easy for people to be swayed, but I'm not one of them that are swayed easy. I go by rules. I'm a rule person, and I make no exception to the rules. So integrity is big in this office. We take an oath, and it's important. And when I took my oath, I had two of the most important people in my life hold that Bible, and it was my pastor and my oldest brother.
What should voters know about this office? How is it important to them?
Well, people just think Recorder of Deeds just records. They don't know what we truly do. And we record all kinds of documents. We record, most importantly, the deed to your home. We record your mortgage. We record your satisfaction. We also, the plannings, we do highway plannings, we do right-of-ways, easements, and we also do notaries. And we also, which I'm very proud of because my father was a Pearl Harbor veteran. He was actually in Pearl Harbor when the Japanese attacked. And so that makes my next hat of the Recorder of Deeds very important to me also. It gives me pride to say that I also record the DD-214s for our veterans. And the other thing that we do with that is we also look up for our different communities that are able to give back to our veterans, whether it be anything from a free cup of coffee to a free dinner to any kind of discount at a hardware store.
The recorder collects real estate taxes. This is the money sellers pay the state and other taxing agencies when a deed to a property is sold. How will you assure that the correct amount is paid promptly to the state and to each agency?
Okay, with the deed, when they are recorded, there are different taxes. It's the local tax, it's the RIT tax, it's the state tax. And all my recorders, and I for that matter, we all have the right amount of fees that have to be paid, the tax amount on the total sale. So that is part of their job as a recorder to make sure that the proper taxes have been collected on the property. If they are not, the document will be rejected, and with each rejection comes a reason why that it is rejected. It might say improper amount for RIT tax, improper amount for the local tax, and then we let them know the percentage, but we never tell them the amount.
Okay. Please explain the common level ratio and how it affects our taxes.
Okay, the common level ratio right now is 2.2%. And what that is that's on every deed that is recorded. And that is a tax that is brought out and it changes. It's every year it's a different amount. It always goes up, it never comes down. And it goes from July 1st to June 30th of the fiscal year.
Okay. How would you balance the needs for preservation of the records with the need for public access to the records?
Well, we are an open office. Unfortunately, COVID had shut us down. And those were unprecedented times that none of us in our generation ever experienced. We had to make the rules as we went almost. The county shut down for 2 weeks because we thought that's all it was going to be closed down for. Then it turned into a month, then into several months. So during those times, as the recorder, I had to be very creative in what I've done. And I am very fortunate in my position that there are 66 other recorders throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, one recorder for every county. So we had a lot of networking going on between us as we were going through these times. When our doors were closed, our phones were on, and we took phone call after phone call to help people and to assist them. Our office might have been closed to the public, but our office ran. Every single one of my people or my team members, they were all deemed essential. That was something I had to learn. I was in office 8 weeks, barely knowing everybody's name and their personality. And now I'm learning, okay, who is essential, who's not. And actually, we are a team. And I use that word team, and I say that very strongly. We each need one another to be able to work and do our job properly. And I, as being the recorder right now, it's my final decision.
Okay, you learned a lot about Zoom probably, or some
I
similar
learned an
program.
awful lot about Zoom, and it was trial and error. I think we all learned Zoom, we all learned Teams, and it was hard. It was very, very hard. I don't think the public really realizes what a service office went through. And as my people were coming back, it was like they were in a different world. They did not realize, and they would come into my office, and like the big sister, I just would have to say, okay, do you know what it was like for us on this side? 3 people were in our office. And every day we would come in and see those empty seats. And it was very, very hard. And so every morning it was a pep talk with the 2 people that were there with me. And I strived off of their energy, they strived off of mine. And we made it work. And we worked from home, and it was tough because, let's face it, everyone was home. And airspace online was tough. Everything ran slow.
Things were challenging. When the housing market is hot and many houses are sold in a short period of time, how will you assure all deed transfers are recorded promptly?
Well, funny you should say that, Bill, because that was the biggest thing. When COVID hit, marketing went through the roof. Homes were being sold, properties were being sold, warehouses were being sold. They weren't even seeing these buildings or homes or land in person. They were going through a visual. It was a virtual tour of a home. Mm-hmm. Now the problem always came where we had people at home, which there wasn't a lot of people to be able to work in person. So we had to deal with that. The hardest thing for different people to understand was we have to record a deed. Once the deed is recorded, we cannot touch that. We cannot change a date. We cannot change a number. And unfortunately, when you're used to maybe getting 50 to 100 deeds a day or documents a day, we're getting 100. Mm-hmm. And we were on a skeleton crew. And you have mistakes. And once you have mistakes, that's a rejection. So it went to the bottom of the barrel and, until it was recycled up to you again. There was nothing I could do about that.
Sure. Many people, hearing what the office does, wonder why it's an elected position. They would hire a records retention expert at far less than $96,000. Do you feel it needs to be an elected position? Please explain your answer.
I do think it should be an elected position. You're looking at documents. You have privy to documents for over 200 plus years. We go back to 1752. We have a lot of documents, and a lot of these are handwritten. Some of them are calligraphy. There are things that are recorded for slavery. You just can't trust that to just anyone. I guess as an elected official, I took my oath serious. That's why I took the important people in my life that I know I'm going to see every day. And also, I didn't only take that oath for myself, I took it for Berks County. I'm true blue Berks County. You could take me from one city, the center city, to the burbs, to the country, but basic bottom line, I'm still that young city girl, and I was raised with integrity.
If elected, what do you plan to accomplish in the 4-year term?
Well, in these next 4 years, a lot of things that we could not do during my first 2 years, preserving our history. Each year, I am given an allowance in my budget to preserve books. And unfortunately, none of that went anywhere for 2 years. And now we're on waiting lists. And so now what it is I am set up to go through the preservation people are coming in, and they will be taking the worst books and taking them out first and then going with the others. Now, I did talk them into helping me because, if you're used to doing 5 books a year or 6 books a year, I've lost already 12 books. So we want that to make up.
Please give us your closing statement.
Sure. Well, first of all, as I stated before, my name is Mary Kozak. I'm a GOP incumbent in the Recorder of Deeds office. This is my 4th year serving. I have already been endorsed by the GOP. I have always stood by my integrity. I might go toe-to-toe with people that think I'm wrong, but at the end of the day, I don't break rules for no one, not even myself. Also, COVID put us in uncharted territories, and decisions had to be made on your feet. And being new in the position, I did well. I mean, I hate to say that about myself, but I had 66 others to depend on and lean upon. And I'm thankful that we had that. When I came in as recorder, we were 17 new recorders. And we had a special class just for this. And the 17 of us plus the others, we remained that closeness. And so COVID did a lot of hard things, but it did a lot of good things. People learned to respect one another more and appreciate what we really do in our own prospective jobs and lives.
Thank you, Mary Kozak, for sharing your
Thank you,
views
Bill.
with us. Viewers, please remember there is another candidate for Recorder of Deeds. He is J. Scott DeFries. I'm Bill Litvin. Good day.
You will find the Candidates Upfront interviews on BCTV and on its website and its YouTube page. And for more information on candidates, you can go to the League's online voters guide, vote411.org. Or you can contact Berks County Election Services, elections@countyofberks.com. Their phone number is 610-478-6490. And thank you for watching Candidates Upfront.